Did you know you're already fasting? Well, we're already fasting because we're actually on a fast.
On an extended water fast.
Extended water fast right now. But we were having a chat just before inside, and I said, let's grab the camera and actually have a chat on camera so you can hear this conversation about the different forms of fasting that you're already doing. So when I talk about water fasting on this channel, or you hear the concept, you might be a little bit freaked out about thinking, oh my God, I'm just going to stop eating for a while. But funnily enough, your body's actually really used to fasting already. And so we want to have a little chat about that.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think you do every night, every time you go to sleep? It's not physically possible to eat while you're sleeping. So, I mean, maybe some people do. I don't know. But in the general concept, then you're going to sleep. You don't eat for a number of hours. Now, a lot of people will tend to fall into, let's say it's roughly a 10 to 12 hour period. Even if you're only sleeping 6 to 8 hours, you're probably going to end your meal or you're eating in the evening and not eat again until, what's it called?
Break
fast. So the fasting concept is literally part of our daily lifestyle.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're doing intermittent fasting, even more so. And I think that's an easy one to actually start slipping into to get your body used to fasting. You know, you finish eating a meal maybe at 7 o'clock at night instead of 9 o'clock at night. So eating a little bit earlier, we find it really difficult to actually eat late now. We're actually going to bed feeling really like, oh my goodness, like this is a really heavy meal and you don't sleep so well. So eating a little bit earlier actually became really easy for us. And then if you push it out to say 9, 10 o'clock, depends on if you're working or not, that can be a bit more difficult. But for us, we don't eat until 10 or 11. We get a little bit sidetracked in the mornings and then we go and get tacos or whatever we have for brunch here in Mexico. And suddenly you're doing quite a long fast. It's actually been 16 hours or so, 15, 16 hours, and that's actually really good.
That was another point that I wanted to bring out with regards to everyone's fasting anyway. If you've ever done keto, like having a ketogenic diet, you're getting the best version of your fasting from just sleeping at night or doing like a slight intermittent fasting because you actually would get to burn fat after that 12-hour mark. So doing intermittent fasting on a keto diet is really, really good. It's not as good as like extended water fasting, but
Still
it's really good.
No, it is. You make a really good point. That is a really good way to go into fasting too. If you're a little bit scared about starting a fast and not eating or anything, a good way to go in. This is how I actually entered this fast in particular, was to start on a keto diet. So no carbs, it's up to 60 grams of carbs. And what that does is make sure that your body is burning fat and not glycogen in the liver, as Jody was talking about. So it starts that adaptation process that you're going to go through anyway when you're on a fast. So you're just going to do it earlier, not on the fast itself. And then going into a fast like today, not hungry at all. I haven't had a headache. I've just felt really good all day today. And this is the first day of a fast. So it's going to be very interesting to see how day 2 and day 3 go on our 3-day fast. But I'm feeling really energetic. I do feel different than when I ate carb meals before I started a fast. So yeah, it's something that maybe ease into fasting as well.
I think it's about challenging yourself because I mean, you just need to watch even just one other video on Nat's channel here and you see all the scientific proof of just how beneficial water fasting is. Challenge yourself. Realize just that it is possible, that it is actually not as, painful as you think it's going to be, and that you can do it because you're actually born to do it.
You are born to do it. Your body's actually very used to being in a fasted state. When you think about our caveman days, our DNA hasn't changed actually all that much, funnily enough. So it's used to fasting. They used to feast when they would find food, and then they would have to have periods of fasting because there was no food. And so the body became very used to that. And so going backwards and forwards between those two states, it actually is quite good for the body. So, and how many times have you missed a meal? You get really busy with work or you're doing something, you got to pick up the kids, things are running late, whatever. And then suddenly you get to dinner and go, oh my God, I missed lunch. Like, when did that happen? So you're actually quite used to fasting. And so yes, your hunger hormone called ghrelin is going to come up and it's going to say, yeah, I'm really hungry right now. And maybe when you're working, that's happening. And then all of a sudden, if you keep pushing through because you've got a meeting to go to or you're just really busy with work, then all of a sudden, after about 20 minutes, it just drops away and then you completely forget that you're hungry again. And that's exactly what happens on fasting. So all that's happening is the hunger hormone comes up and goes, hi, I'm here, are you really hungry? And it can come up at the certain times of the day where you normally eat. That's usually when it comes up because we're so programmed to eat. At 1 o'clock, we have our lunch. At 6 o'clock, we have our dinner. So that's where you're going to really notice it come up. And then all of a sudden, if you don't pay any attention to it, it just goes away because that's what it does.
Yeah, you can be in control. The other thing that I remembered as well is I'm sure at some stage you've had to have either a blood test or some kind of, treatment, like especially if you've ever had an operation, broken leg or whatever it may be.
I've had one of those.
Then you have to fast before you go into surgery because, you can't take the anaesthetic without having an empty stomach. I remember the first time somebody was saying, I've got to fast before I go and have this test, but my test isn't until 10 o'clock in the morning.
Drama.
And then, of course, intermittent fasting became very popular. So now it's like everyone goes, oh, yeah, that's no problem. So this is what we're trying to say is like you've experienced fasting to some degree anyway. So now it's just about extending it a bit more. Just test yourself out. Challenge yourself. See if you can just extend a bit more than what you've experienced at some stage of your life. What about when you got a flu?
Yeah, and I think that's
what they say? 𝗙𝗪𝗂𝗏.
𝗙𝗪𝗂𝗏, feed a cold or something. But to me, I would starve everything because that's the maximum amount of healing that you can get when you take food away. Because your body, don't forget, your body's either digesting food or it's healing itself. So the more you eat, the less healing that's actually going on in your body. So by just taking food away, that's all we're doing. That's all fasting is. So it's just taking food away so your body can 100% focus on healing itself. And so when you are sick, oftentimes you don't even feel like eating. It's like, oh, it's the last thing I feel like eating. You might have a little bit of soup, chicken soup or something, but you don't tucking into a massive meal or anything because your body's telling you, I want to heal. I want all the energy going to healing, not digesting right now. And so, and we see this in animals too. How many times does your dog, particularly I guess we see dogs more often than
cats do it too.
Cats probably do it. But where they just don't eat for a day, they're just totally off their food for the day. And it's like maybe their body's telling them that they've got something going on and they're just not feeling well for the day. And so the best thing that they can do is actually stop eating.
Take notice of them, like take notice of when they stretch, you should stretch. Take notice of how they eat and, just trust your own instincts and realize that you're already a faster. You actually have the ability to fast. You fast on a daily and regular basis anyway. And this is just sort of a bit of a challenge to go a bit longer because there's just so many benefits that can come from it if you achieve that.
Yep. So if you want to try a 3-day fast, you can grab the blueprint down below if you want to try it on your own. Or if you want to try it with some people and with my help and some other freedom fasters, then the link is also down below there to join us in Freedom Fasters. Yay. And we always talk about doing 3-day fasts because they're so healthy for you. And you can work your way up to that as well. So you don't have to jump in straight away.
I really hope to see you inside of Freedom Fasters.
Yes, definitely. That would be awesome. And we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
We see this in wildlife as well. If, a deer or something out in the sticks breaks its leg, they're not eating. They're not choosing to run around and, find food and eat, which you can't really do with a broken leg, I guess. Baby laying by the street.
It's like, it's probably just going to fucking get eaten by something else, to be honest.
All right, well, scrap Bambi. We'll just talk about the dog.